What Washington's Long-Term Care Act means to you. In 2019, Washington enacted a long-term care insurance benefit funded by worker contributions to pay for some costs associated with future long-term care needs. As the first state in the nation to attempt to control some of the state's long-term care costs by providing an insurance benefit, there will be a lot of scrutiny from other states looking to control their own costs. Equally as important to this conversation is how it will impact Washingtonians, and finally, what kind of say we have in how this carries out, since an important deadline looms for those who want to opt out. First, what is it? Long-term care is the care you receive when you need care for a long period of time due to chronic illness or disability. Care can be provided in a nursing home, but it can also be provided at home. The care runs the gamut between 24-hour specialized medical care to someone handling household chores such as meal prep. Because there is a giant chasm between those two types of cares and their costs, it is quickly apparent that planning for the second and needing the first hurts the financial security, not just of the person needing the care, but the family members as well. Why family members? Currently, about 7 out of 10 Washingtonians over the age of 65 will need long-term services within their lifetime, but the cost of that care can be catastrophic. Some costs can be relieved by family members and friends stepping in and providing care. You understand what that entails if you currently call someone you love on a regular basis and remind them to take their meds. Obviously, it can extend well beyond that, though, to helping with bathing, providing meals, taking someone shopping, etc. These may seem minor until the person providing that care finds that it affects their own health, their own financial stability, because many people have to quit work, pass up promotions, or even get fired, and their own retirement. The quickest way to appreciate this cost is to realize that your own Social Security benefits are based on the 35 highest years of earnings, and not unsurprisingly, most people make their highest income in the years closest to retirement. Cutting short those years worked or reducing your pay at a time you would be contributing the most to your own Social Security benefit, as well as your own retirement account, costs an estimated $300,000. Obviously, there are other options. Those options include nursing homes, assisted living, or even private care, but they can be truly expensive. The average cost for a year in a nursing home approaches $100,000. One option for paying for long-term care is to purchase long-term care insurance. This continues to be a good option, but be aware that the cost for long-term care insurance is steep. Is best handled by purchasing it when you are relatively young and healthy, and can increase dramatically each year. What not rely on Medicaid? Medicaid will pay for long-term care service, but to qualify, you need to show financial and health need. Because it is asset-based, you may need to spend down to meet the resource limits required before you can qualify, and you may not agree with your long-term plans for your family. Don't spend down your assets without first seeking legal assistance. So that's the why of it. Beginning in 2022, employers are required to apply a payroll tax of 0.58% to anyone who receives a W-2. This is not a tax on the employer. It is a tax on the employee. The employer is only required to collect it. The benefit pays out to anyone who has remained in Washington for the last 10 years, or for anyone who has paid into the program for 3 of the last 6 years. You can lose your eligibility if you are no longer a Washington resident. Why opt in? This is a payroll tax you have to opt out of if you receive a W-2 and work more than 500 hours a year. So there is nothing to do if you choose to move forward with Washington's plan. That is, unless you are self-employed, in which case you have to opt into the program. Money collected through this payroll deduction goes into a trust. The state will pay benefits of up to $36,500 over the course of a resident's lifetime for those who need assistance with activities of daily living, as long as you are a Washington resident, at least 18 years old, are either temporarily worked at least 500 hours per year for the 3 years, or permanently worked at least 500 hours per year for at least 10 years, with at least 5 years being consecutive, vested. And the Department of Social and Health Services has determined you need assistance with at least 3 activities of daily living. Why opt out? As already mentioned, there are strict eligibility rules that may cause you to lose your benefit, and the benefit is not particularly generous. If you plan to leave Washington or plan to retire prior to the 10-year time frame, you won't benefit from the program and should pursue other options. Also, the payroll tax is not capped, so the amount going into the trust may increase without ascribing any additional benefit to it. You can opt out by purchasing a replacement private long-term care policy, but doing so will make you permanently ineligible for the coverage under the fund. You also might want to opt out if you make a substantial amount, above $300,000 a year, since you won't get better benefits with the higher amount paid in. However, keep in mind that the state's plan does not require you to qualify prior to getting the insurance, and any other long-term care insurance plan will. By purchasing your own long-term care insurance, though you can buy what you want as long as it is equal or better than the state's plan, you can also be exempt if you have a qualified life insurance policy or annuity that includes supplemental coverage for long-term care expenses. You must have something in place by November 1st, 2021, and apply for an exemption by December 31st, 2022. To find out more about the new plan, go to http://www.washingtoncaresfund.wa.gov/